Gaskin, if Sentinels won split here, it wouldn't shock me. They have a 100% win rate across multiple events, not just this one. And, they've really hammered home how good they are on this map. But I am curious to see what they're going to bring to the table here. So Dapr actually needing to deal with this early aggression. He isn't going to get picked off instantly, but Kaboose will be there to actually see him and nail the headshot. Sick has been blocked off in heaven. And I believe Sinatraa is going to be right next to him as well. So Sick finally does drop down, and an early plant also off screen. mummAy does manage to get that one kill with the shorty. Another follow-up there. Kaboose has just been amazing thus far. Just getting onto the site alongside with mummAy, placing those shots where they need to. And that is an early start with authority in favor of Envy.
Yeah, Envy needed this pistol just to give them a little bit of a boost. One thing that Sentinels are very good at doing on their attacking rounds is kind of winning ecos, but in terms of defending rounds, it's always a little bit more difficult because you're not as confident to push. You want to be a little bit more defensive and you want to watch those angles and hope to catch maybe a player or two off guard. But it's whether Envy are going to go for a little bit of a rush here or just play the default, expecting Sentinels to do something a bit skew-if. And you can see there is going to be a bit of a stack down middle here. Sentinels may be looking to try and catch a player or two off guard with a little incy-bincy bit of aggression here, using the Omen bubble just to gain a little bit of cover. But no one is going to be caught out.
They're not going to go for the bait quite yet. Watch out, though, for Sick. If mummAy decides to push, he actually can get caught not just by him, but also by the Jet, too. As we ShahZaM. ShahZaM is going to get tagged up, but mummAy will be in a worst possible spot there. ShahZaM, a great block with that cloud burst, though, will not be able to bail out of there. And the Vandal shot right to the dome of ShahZaM is going to make him pack his bags going into round number 3.
Shadows traveling.
As far as this particular round is concerned, though, the action continues, and FNS is going to be lurking around. He managed to make his way all the way through site, and then while that's going on, look at the A site. All that activity is taking place. So even if Calypso didn't just pop off like a G there, they would have been able to get that spike down, or FNS would have been there on the flank to clean that up. They won the pistol round. They were obviously going to be able to get that second round, or the stats were definitely in their favor to win the second. Now they're going to have to deal with Sentinels with guns.
Not just any guns as well. There's going to be an op for ShahZaM, which is always going to be a terrifying factor. He often is one of those key points for Sentinel success, especially defending on split. So we'll see whether he manages to get something, an aggressive angle here on A site, whether he's just going to hold it passively. But it looks like at the moment Envy are hedging their bets towards B. But certainly just watching mid and being very careful of this mid push yet again. They are wise to it. They know Sentinels tend to push down middle and try and gain control of it because Sentinels probably feel like it's one of the best ways to ensure they can win a round. But at the same time, when you're going up against a relatively weak buy from the side of Envy, you don't need to push. You can wait.
I like what FNS is doing on the other side of the map. He plays camera and he hasn't moved. It's literally just lurk mode. That's all he's doing. And he found out that 2 players were going to be located on A ramp. Now, those 2 players is going to be the Opper. So they're not worrying about the Opper. mummAy can clear this out here, and then they can start to make this push for site. But the retake is going to happen here. mummAy is going to get called out, and he will get tagged. I think that was going to be from a cyber cage. One player is going to be located over on the right side there to them inside of the heaven. That is ShahZaM. They got to be careful about that. Akis, though, as he jumps on in, will manage to pick up 1 kill against Dapr. And he does bail, but Sinatraa waiting for him. Not to be expected there for sure. Zombs, though, thought he might have gotten the upper hand against FNS. Thankfully, Sick had the follow-up. Now it's just going to be Kaboose in a 1v2. They know where he's going to be located. If he gets his kill here against Sick, it could actually change the tide of this battle. Spike will be down right by that pillar. Sinatra's not going to have eyes on it, but his only legitimate option is to plant either for default or closer to the entranceway, which he's going to opt for the entranceway plants. Apologies, words are very hard here. Oh, but he tries to just... Okay, so he put down that blast pack, and I think he was trying to see if he can get a quick strafe over to the right side and maybe get the timing off of the player on heaven. Just didn't really work out, but a good hold there for Sentinels as they'll get their first on the board.
Get their first on the board, but Envy were able to do a significant amount of damage to Sentinels' economy here. And they obviously had bought up and got those rifles, and now Sentinels may have to have a couple of half buys. You can see Dapr is going to be on the SMG, perhaps, unless someone can buy up for him. No, okay, someone else was able to buy up. Zombs just takes half armor, so they're okay for now. It's not going to be too detrimental for them. Whereas Envy are going to have well, mostly a strong buy. There is going to be one sheriff to work with. That's always the weird thing about that third round, and if you have bought up a rifle or two. Sentinels, I think, will be happy. At least they did the damage to the economy of Envy as well. And now it's just going to be a somewhat default setup for Envy, attacking-wise, just watching all areas, making sure there's not going to be any aggression on B or A, whilst also trying to do something mid, but ShahZaM denying mummAy the peak. Wall goes up, and everyone on Sentinels repositioning just to make sure there's not going to be a rush to follow that initial peak in middle. And I like that. Reactive rotations. Not just waiting to see someone or hear someone, but just presuming that there could be a rush because there was an aggressive peak somewhere else. Because often, if someone dies and they are on their own peaking, the other 4 players are usually going to rush after that death instantly. Doesn't happen in this case because actually it wasn't just a solo peak. Envy were also there to try and support in middle. And now they're repositioning over towards this A side. And Envy has been able to get in a decent spot here.
Yeah, with FNS here located inside of Heaven, he can go further inside of it. I don't know if he heard the player drop down, but he has to do his work in clearing this out, which Heaven is going to be cleared. And now they're going to try and go for the shots, but Sick sees FNS as soon as he comes out of the Heaven doors. Zombs is waiting on the cross. They got this thing angled out. Sick does die, but Zombs right there to back him up. And then ShahZaM has his buddies back. That's going to be 3 for ShahZaM along with that op. He's been putting that thing to work. That barrel is hot today.
My favorite thing about player names is any name you can kind of scream when they get the kill. So like, ShahZaM! It just works. Like, I'm just glad that he exists, and he's an opera as well, because he gets consistent kills. 2-2, Envy's money now is not going to be great, so Sentinel's going to start to take a bit of an economic advantage here. And if they can continue pummeling Envy into the ground and stop Envy consistently buying, then this is where things could get a little bit rough on Envy's attacking side. So Envy need to make sure that they just ensure they've got money for the next round, maybe try and do a little bit of damage to Sentinels here on this round, and then hopefully get a little bit of momentum, maybe get an op or 2, depending on how they want to attack. I'd usually prefer 1, but I have seen 2 used, and that might help them just be able to get that first pick, especially against ShahZaM, who has been taking some aggressive angles.
Last time Envy played this was against Cloud9 in the upper bracket match that sent Cloud9 down to losers. And that actually, oh, okay, good shot there from Kaboose. Sinatraa had to help his buddy out and get that refrag, which he will accomplish. And they bring back Dapr. Critical considering that Dapr has so much utility centered around B site. So in case things were to get a little Ari there, that he would be the one to handle that. mummAy has popped the Blade Storm, but ShahZaM does have vision. Now, once they burst through this, though, someone might be there to trade. There's no way he gets these shots off in time. And in fact, there was going to be a peek there from FNS that's going to force ShahZaM back. And then mummAy smelled blood and went right for the play. Zomzo waiting in the corner. mummAy right there yet again. Big opportunity for this team to get this spike down, save them, get some more money on the board, and then in case things happen to not go their way financially, they'll be in a bit of a better position here. mummAy is going to be dangerously weak. Watch out for the flank as well, but Akis over by screens. Nicely done. Calypso 2 is going to have vision here in just a second. mummAy finally is going to go down. Calypso's going to be there to help him out. Only going to be Sinatraa left standing here to deal with Calypso. Does manage to do that. Now just dealing with Akis. Akis is going to be wrapping around screens. Has he made enough noise here? But Sinatraa comes up clutch right when Sentinels need him, giving them the lead. But that was a well-done execute by Envy to make the best of a bad situation, and the players rotating where they needed to, Gaskin, just to get those critical angles, and it just came down to Sinatraa clutching it up when they really, really needed him to.
And actually, we're seeing it more and more now, where Jet's blades are being used on these kind of eco rounds to try and give you some form of entry, because they can be so strong, and the fact that you can save money and save your economy by doing so. In fact, it's one of the reasons why Sentinels have had so much success on this map, because in their eco rounds, they've ensured that they do have the Jet ultimate there, waiting and available. And it meant that Envy did a lot of damage to the economy on the side of Sentinels. Yes, okay, they're still going to be able to consistently buy up, but it means if Envy do string a couple of rounds together, the economy isn't going to be as good for Sentinels, and they might be able to reset them at one point. A decent round from Envy. It was a winnable round in the end, but Sentinels doing extremely well just to stay calm and clutch up when they needed to.
That round started with Sinatraa, and it ended with Sinatraa. Now, as we set our sights here toward round 6, we got a little peek here on the B side. And then believe that is the one-way setup for Cypher. Also, that camera too, I don't think they figured out where that camera is. It is really high, and that is an angle that you have to fully commit to destroy. So that camera's going to be sitting there for a hot minute before anyone actually worries about it or can even deal with it, considering that there's just so much investment on defense for Sentinels. ShahZaM. Oh boy, well, he did get the kill, but they were there for the trade instantly, playing around for one another. Losing their Sage in that res will hurt. Dapr is going to be pushing further inside. He looked at the camera at the worst possible moment. Sinatraa gets out of there. No, he doesn't. It's going to be the shrapnels from the paint shells will handle Sinatraa. Sick inside of heaven. Has been picked out. Neural theft activated. Sick. A clean shot on FNS. 2v2. Zombs wins his battle, so now it's just going to be up to Sick to have to worry about mummAy here. mummAy has one player who's going to be very low, but their really only option is to just try and go for this fight here. mummAy only with an op, but Zombs does help him out. He sticks the plant, and that is going to be 4 for Sentinels. I think they just played that very well, despite some of the setbacks that were occurring. Even with Dapr getting caught looking at his camera, they were still able to recover from that one.
It was Sick's confidence to be able to walk out onto those rafters and deny, well, he didn't deny the plant, but he knew there was going to be a free kill as soon as that plant came off. It's such a vulnerable position after you plant and default on split. If you're not just staying there and crouched, as soon as you stand up, you're at just a disgusting headshot angle, and it's so easy from the rafters. Of course, you have to have a good shot, but everyone in this game now, like of these 10 players, are going to have the shot to do that. There is just about going to be enough money for Envy. They are going to force up, and they are going to have half armor to work with. So Sentinels certainly have the advantage in this round, and it'll be a 5-2 if they manage to pick this one up, and then a reset of economy if Envy aren't able to win this one. But Envy have done very well to at least get onto the sites, GB. It's just the afterplants, unfortunately, have been a little bit kind of all over the place, but that's because Sentinels have forced them to be that way. Sentinels have been consistent enough to spread themselves around the site so that Envy aren't comfortable to get into nice post-plant positions. And I guess that's because one of the times it was a thrifty, so Envy were kind of all over the place, like scattered, picking up weapons here or there, and Sentinels just retreated off the site to ensure they played the retake together, which is something they always do very well. If they feel like they're outnumbered on a site, they will wait for the rest of the team to join them. And it's something that we need to see more and more, I feel. Because if you just try and take the fight without the numbers advantage, you may struggle here and there.
Okay, so now we have Dapr and Sinatraa on the flank. They're going to see FNS, and that is going to prompt people to move around. Whether or not he saw Sinatraa is yet to be seen, but it seems as if they're just going to continue to commit to this. Dapr does get back onto B site by himself, mind you. And I like the way that Sentinels have positioned themselves at A site, anticipating that that could actually end up being where the focus is located now. Dapr does get the shot off onto the Omen in the backfield. Actually, it's now just going to be Zombs over here hanging out. He does get here to go and help his buddy out. That's going to be 2 for Zombs. Looking for another one, though. Sinatraa! Sinatraa! Well done. 2 kills. Closes out the round. And while things were looking up for Envy, Sinatraa yet again plays spoiler.
And yet again, he's just there, and they pushed at the right time, Sentinels. They were patient. They don't worry when other teams plant the spike. Like, they genuinely don't panic. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways I get from watching Sentinels across not just this tournament, but previous tournaments as well. They're very calm. You can tell that the comms are all there. They're communicating as to where players are going to be. They're always there to trade if there's a double peak possibility. Very good, very clean at the moment from Sentinels. For Envy, they're going to be back down into the gutter here. Just going to have a couple of sheriffs to work with. But you never know. These sheriffs still can do a lot of damage. So Sentinels can't take their foot off the gas here. They have to stay focused. Sick is going to go for a little bit of aggression, and he's rewarded with the aggression. Gets 2. It's an easy spray down in the end, and the Battle Sage turns up.
Thinking about that last round too, and I missed it unfortunately throughout all the commotion, was that Zombs actually TP'd from A site and went over to the back. That was what that Omen TP was going to be, and just a good use of that utility, knowing that his buddy was going to be there long enough to allow him to teleport into the fray. This team always finds a way to play around one another effectively. The struggle that they are going to have in this pistol round is that there's just a lot of healthy aggression from Sentinels because they know that they're able to do this. They don't have much to worry about. Even with FNS getting the kill on Sinatraa, it isn't going to affect them. I think the realistic result for the attacker side, if Envy can get 8-4, that was the same exact scoreline that they managed to pick up against Cloud9 when they played on Split. And when you pick Split first, you have to anticipate that the other team is going to go for defense. But the problem with Split for Sentinels is that not only are they incredible at defense, but their offense, their strats, like they play A site so well. They push, they're very aggro, like they never really let their foot off of the pedal. And I just don't really know how Envy overcome this, but if there's a team that could do it, they certainly are going to be quite confident on Split.
Well, we haven't really seen Envy do it, but what Sentinels do when they're attacking is they will take control of A, take control of ramp, and then they'll take control of A heaven, but then they'll push through the ropes, and they'll go towards B, and they're very difficult to predict when they are attacking. mummAy gets the opener, though, and we'll have the blades to work with. Envy follows up. mummAy gets a third, and this should be a round now for Envy, with only 2 players on Sentinels remaining, and they are hard rotating round. Sick is going to be the closest to the site. Still winnable if he can hit some big shots here. Should be able to get the first, but no, nice little shoulder peek there to at least gain the information.
No one will be able to pick him off, and then that wall comes out too. 2 players are going to be blocked there. But the wall actually is not going to be good. It is going to be chunked off at that moment in time. Sick, though, another kill, but the paranoia at the opportune moment comes in hot. Calypso, I think playing that Omen just... I think you mentioned it earlier, Gaskin, where you have that conscious mind to be like, okay, I know I can place this here. I know that this is going to reach here with the paranoias. It's such a strong ability, and it just neutralized Sick. Even though Sick was going to be in a bit of a pickle in that spot, it's still just very well done to try and preventing him from being able to win that round, which could have been a possibility.
And not even winning the round, but just denying him, damaging the economy as well to the side of Envy, because their money is still a little bit shaky. If they were to lose several people there, then they wouldn't have been too comfortable if they lost another round, whereas now they can start to build up a little bit of a bank balance. We saw how influential the op was in that round, just being able to get that opening pick, and it also was able to give the ultimate orb so that Jet could pop her blades. And we're seeing how important those blades can be when in the right hands as well. Whether it's a thrifty round or whether it's a full buy, can just do so much damage. Kaboose just trying to scout out here into B stairs. The nade not connecting with anyone. So instead, they're just going to slowly creep their way up, as they have done previously, but there are always going to be those Cypher traps, and at the moment, no spike for anyone on the team of Envy, so someone is going to have to go back for it at some point.
They continue to inch forward as well inside of ropes. Sick is there, but Sick will run into Calypso on the rope. You don't have all that much accuracy. It's still pretty decent, but at that range, he was planted feet down, ready for him. He got the better. Now, Sinatraa is waiting with Showstopper in the wings. If he gets a whiff that there could be a player there, he might pop Showstopper. There goes another one. Here comes the Showstopper. Rockets away, but it does not connect. Also, the Boombot's going to be slowed down too. Gets destroyed instantly. They know exactly where he's going to be located. He's stuck onto that slow orb as well. And Kaboose, a burst onto the site. Gonna give him the upper hand now. Spike should be going down in just a second. Sinatraa flies on in. He's done this before, as he's ruined the opportunity that Envy could get a round win, but this would be a big win if Envy manages to obtain it. Sinatraa, though, is still alive, and that's going to be a problem. ShahZaM's still alive, too, and with that op, he's going to be real clinical, and there you go. Sentinels managed to hold on, and you're so right, Gaskin. They do not lose their cool on the retake. They are brilliant again.
I'm really looking forward to when we actually get to listen to comms, like when we can get LAN tournaments and we get listen-ins, because I don't think it's going to be hectic comms whatsoever. Just from watching how they play and how smooth their transitions are from off-site to on-site with their retakes, checking every angle, ensuring someone is watching something at all times. They don't leave themselves too vulnerable, which is always very difficult to do when you're not having the man advantage retaking a site. Very knowledgeable, you can tell. They know all the kind of natural spots that people are going to be playing post-plant, but also playing around smokes perfectly as well, using the smokes to their advantage, not being scared to push through smokes. I think that's one of the key takeaways there. It can be sometimes a very silly decision to push into a smoke if the opposition player is going to be waiting in it, but they were confident enough. They knew they had to take a little bit of a risk there for that retake, and they were rewarded for it. And now Envy, again, we see a couple of sheriffs that they have to work with as we're into the 11th round.
That was looking great for Envy. You know they're kicking themselves for not dealing with Sinatraa and Heaven earlier. And I know that in that instance, you know, Akis is kind of like, man, if I'd only been able to win that fight in Heaven, that round looks completely different. Don't forget, though, ShahZaM contributed a fair amount on that one, too. But with the op, it would have been more challenging for him to deal with that. Now, as we sit in this eco round for Envy, just an opening, looking for an opportunity. Envy did manage to pick up this Phantom because FNS was able to afford it, but now he's stuck. He's stuck on this, and he's going to be tagged. Not killed. It'll be okay. That nade doesn't quite land where it needs to be. Sinatraa playing on top of the catwalk. ShahZaM, he's literally not going to leave this angle. It's the commitment is crazy. Finally, they back out, but both players actually are going to pop Cloudburst at the same exact time. Here comes the push now for Envy. They got to remove Sinatraa from the equation. They finally succeed in doing so, but ShahZam's still going to be a problem located on the defender's side. 7 seconds remaining, and what a shot from ShahZaM. He goes in there with the classic, and he pops him with the right click, follows it up. Oh my goodness. Sentinels. Do it again.
And he just knew he had to deny the plant. Like, at that point, I mean, even if he dies, he's still going to be so much trouble to the opposition team that they have to deal with him, and it's going to give the rest of the team time to retake the site. It's only going to be pistols they were going up against anyway, so it's going to be a comfortable retake. Nice little no-scope, though. And again, just utilizing Jet and her abilities in the best way to dash and deny the plant as we go into the final round of the first half here. And as you said, 8-4, Envy might be feeling like that's okay, as a technical pause will come out. Whether that is just going to be a chance for now, a little bit of discussion here for Envy to ensure they can put that 4th round on the board. Because 9-3, if that 9-3 suddenly becomes a pistol round victory for Sentinels, you're looking at maybe 11-3, and there is not much room for mistakes when you are down at 11-3.
I mean, the confidence that you have to have there if you're ShahZaM.
I mean, if you're going to play Jet, you have to have confidence in general, right?
Yeah.
Like, you've got abilities that literally are about closing distance and getting in the face of your opponents. If you're not going to use those abilities, then there's no point playing a Jet. Like, just play someone else. And that is for everyone who's watching and anyone who's playing the game. If you are scared and you're not confident in your shot, don't play Jet. Go play someone else. Let the crazy mofos play Jet.
I hear you're a really big Jet fan.
I hate Jet. That's because I'm not confident. I can't hit my shots like these guys. I'd rather play someone who has a flash ability so I can cheat the game.
I like the way you think. I just smoke everything out. ShahZaM, though, is looking to smoke this team here. Envy, though, they're going to blow up ShahZaM instead. Rez is going to come out. This is going to be that last round. ShahZaM has been beaten up, tagged. He's needing to back away. We'll get that healing. Bladestorm also is going to be activated. Kaboose toss a nade to Dapr in the backfield. He's down to 3 HP. They don't have the heal to work around with there. And oh my word, the rocket actually comes out. Sinatraa does not connect because Calypso was literally going to be breathing on his neck at that moment in time. Sick again. Sick. 2 kills. Now it's just Zombs. Zombs falls. Last player left alive is going to be Dapr. Dapr's going to be dangerously low. The paranoia has come out. He's got to make the play happen here, but he's going to be sticking to defuse. He's going to be sticking to defuse. He didn't hear it. He didn't hear it. And Dapr did that with 3 HP.
Again, though, Envy doing so well to get on the site, even though there was a couple of sheriffs there to work with. They forced Sentinels off the site. They got the opening frags, but Sick, again, just waltzes onto site with no care in the world. He checks a couple of angles. No one's watching the defender side spawn, and then suddenly he's able to get 2 frags before he's been taken down. 2 key frags as well, because backside is obviously a power position. Okay, pillars is not the greatest spot to be in, but of course you could dance around with site as well. And Dapr, I mean, just great confidence and great recognition of where his opposition was there to stick the spike. And now it means Sentinels go 9-3 up, and we'll see what they do on the pistol round. I have noticed that they like to play pistol round usually towards B site here, but at the moment, looks like they're going to go for a fast A take. They like to utilize the paranoia. We'll see whether it works out.
ShahZaM bursts onto site instantly. It's right back to what you were talking about, where you have to just be mindless and go into the action, which is exactly what ShahZaM does, and he's going to thrive in that chaos. So does Sinatraa. Gets a headshot with the frenzy off screen. We'll look to handle the players inside of the screens here, but Kaboose instead does manage to topple Sinatraa in that exchange of a raised mirror match. Dapr on the flank, up in the high ground, does see FNS, but will have to back away because didn't have a comfortable angle. Dapr, though, wins that battle. Kaboose has been insane thus far. Dapr is very weak, and that is going to be the defuse and a big round win for Envy on defense.
Yeah, Sentinels just weren't able to get into comfortable post-plant positions there after the pistol. They wanted to take control of screens. The nade, unfortunately, from the Raze wasn't able to force the players out. In fact, actually, it was why he died there, really, Sinatraa, because he was caught with the nade in hand. So Envy doing very well to defend that one. Just an early pick as well from mummAy, holding strong despite the fact there were multiple people pushing towards him. Yes, okay, ShahZaM did his job, right? He got behind, he got the one pick, but the retake was decent from Envy. So this is a good sign. If Envy can be as consistent with their retakes as Sentinels were, then we are in for a game here on their defensive side. But what Sentinels are very good at is winning eco rounds. I mean, maybe not often just the second round, but certainly later on, if they're not able to string rounds together and their economy is bad, they definitely know how to burst onto sites and how to take advantage of the poor money that they usually have.
A lot of guns online for Envy. Some utility too. Actually forced back, and I think Zombs now very weak. Calypso's playing the cross at the steps. I would imagine that Sinatraa is going to try and handle this. But they're actually going to drop all the way back around. ShahZaM is going to be the one that will encounter them. mummAy, nice shot there. Cloudburst to kind of throw them off for a moment. Play around that boom bot. But the calm, cool shots of mummAy, it's been his whole MO throughout this entire competition. And Zombs with the classic in hand. Now, FNS is there to help his buddy out. Stick looking to bait that thing out, but instead, it's FNS who wraps around the corner. He thought that the bait could have been good enough, but it is not a hook, line, and sinker. Instead, Envy gets another round win. 2 on the board on their defensive end. Gaskin, they're going to get the op. They're going to get some weapons going here as well. We're going to get to see what Sentinels do now with some guns on the attack. And that's going to be the question on everyone's mind.
In terms of like my analysis of Sentinels on split, it would have to be when they played against TSM in the 30 bomb tournament, and their first few rounds they went towards A quite fast and they consistently failed. It wasn't until round 4 of their attack where they had an eco round and they suddenly B split and they went through heaven and they went towards B main as well. That's when they actually found their success. So I wonder whether these fast A pushes that we saw against TSM, they've tried to steer clear from them now with their buy rounds. As you can see, they're being a little bit more patient here. They're not going too fast. They're not allowing there to be any easy early picks. Instead, they're being a little bit more hesitant and see if they can get an early pick of themselves before they really decide where they want to go. They do like to rotate late. They know that they can kind of take control of certain areas of the map, like mid or like A, and then they don't have to push towards the site that they first committed to. They're very good at rotating, and that is a huge nade that does a lot of damage. Yeah,
it does a lot of damage, but it also gives Envy some ideas as to what they're looking at. And I think Akis has gotten the memo, hey, I think they're favoring this. They did get wind of him that he was going to be in there, so the spam starts to come through here. Glow Orb is played, and it's ShahZam's actually going to be stuck on there, so he has no opportunity to be able to bail. He isn't able to use Tailwind either. That paranoia does not connect, but what a bulldog shot for Calypso. Sinatraa, though, manages to topple Calypso. While that's going on, too, watch out for Sick coming up on the rear, looking to join his teammate, grab this op, and maybe march their way over, but FNS will be waiting for them. Now, they're going to be looking over at the left side, not the right, and that's why FNS is going to get the better of him, because they were focused on that left angle. Now, Sick is like, well, what do I do? Because they are essentially just going to pincer me in a moment, which they successfully managed to accomplish that, but Sick somehow, some way gets a kill, bails out of that, will keep himself alive here, I think, for a moment. Nice shot. Even though they get the win, do make it expensive for Envy.
Make it expensive for Envy, but that was a bit of a half buy for Envy anyway because they had a few SMGs, so they should be able to fall by here. Whereas on the side of Sentinels, you can see their money not in a particularly good spot. So I think we've got a game on our hands here. If I'm being honest, GB. I mean, even though the 3-1s weren't really that much on the attacking side, it looks like Envy clearly have an idea of how they're going to defend as well. They're very consistent with how they pushed and controlled middle and ensured they don't allow any easy aggressive pushes coming out from Sentinels. And I think now we've got an op in the hands of Envy as well. Things get suddenly a little bit harder for Sentinels, and Envy getting the spray down through the cyber cage. FNS in the right place at the right time and just showing how naughty Cyphers can be.
And also ShahZaM went to poke that too, so ShahZaM is weak in that fight. Boombot, though, always rely on the child to help you out. Despite that, though, it is just going to be Dapr alongside with Zombs. Dapr, it's been a little quiet this game, but when this guy decides he just wants to frag out, he can slay with the best of them. Time and time again, series after series, he's been that consistent rock that this team has needed. And I think that is one of the reasons why they're showing so much respect to him here, backing up 41 HP. Dapr is still going to go in for this fight. Does get some shots off and apply some damage, but both players are going to be weak. Zombs doesn't really have an option. He can also TP out of here too, because he doesn't have that available. If that was there, it would have been wonderful. Unfortunately, not the case. Also, unfortunately for Dapr, he dies, just leaving Zombs all alone. mummAy dancing around this dark cover that Zombs has placed forward with a stinger. Little spray, but doesn't end up happening, and Kaboose gets that final kill. So, Gaskin, you are so right. We got ourselves a match here. Sentinels 9, Envy 7. If you're just joining us, this is the first match here for the Faze Invitational. Sentinels have been on a tear, but Envy sent Cloud9, a team or a fan favorite, to the lower bracket. And Envy, also known as Together We Are Terrific back in the day, showing us that they have certainly been putting in a ton of work, and it is paying off here in game one against one of the best teams, if not the best team in North America.
I guess the positive in that round for Sentinels is they were at least able to draw out the blades from the Jet, so that's another ultimate that you've taken away, and Envy felt like that ultimate was necessary to ensure that round. And then when you look across the Sentinels board, there are ultimates there to use. They have blades of their own, also Showstopper available to try and get entry onto a site if they need it. And for Envy, they've got Res, they've got Showstopper too, so this could be a big round in terms of how this game is going to swing. If Envy pick this one up, they reset the economy of Sentinels, and suddenly we might be looking at a 9-9, and then you could argue advantage Envy. But if Sentinels pick this one up, maybe momentum starts to shift in their way, they start to get money to consistently buy this op on ShahZaM, and we really need to see whether ShahZaM can make this count.
Oh, here we go. Sinatra's going to go flying on in. The nade comes through. He will be able to blow up Kaboose, who is waiting for him down in hell. Akis does get 2 kills, though, in that exchange. It's going to be ShahZaM and Zombs to go down. Sick, though, picks up the res. Akis is waiting, and what a superhero he has been for this team. Finally, they're going to deal with him. FNS helps his buddy out. 2 players left on site now. ShahZaM alongside with Sick. Sick gets the kill, but inside of heaven, it's going to be Calypso. A paranoia out could actually block the vision of ShahZaM, needing him to bail out of this fight. He has his blades, 7 HP remaining. This is going to be a big round now, and he's going to go for the peak. And mummAy, it pays off. They manage to bring this within 1.
Yeah, Sentinel's just really struggling to get past the early defenses of Envy. So a little bit different from what we saw on the flip side. Envy were able to get onto the site and defeat the early defenses of Sentinels, but then they were losing the retake, whereas Sentinels at the moment aren't even able to get that spike down right now. They've just been really struggling to get past those initial players. I mean, Akis just, I mean, what can we really say here? Just sheer good aim, like decent placement as well, ensuring that he was very difficult to kill. Arguably didn't even need to go for that 4th one, but I think the confidence was starting to flow through him, and that's always good. If you've got someone who's confident to take fights, and you're going to consistently see them have success, as it is going to be the push towards A, but mummAy gets one through the cyber cage again, and Sentinel is going to be feeling a little bit aggrieved, I feel, because consistently they're going down through these cages, and now Akis is just having fun.
Let them know you're here to play some video games today, people. Come on. Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, Kaboose is going to get brought down the thighs here, but there goes the very well-timed paranoia from Calypso. That man is placing him exactly where he wants. It's like Peyton to Marvin. It's beautiful every single time. And this is now a tied game, Gaskin. 9-9 on split. What a match we've seen so far.
Oh, I mean, you can see that there were 6 rounds in a row on the side for Sentinels. Now we see 6 rounds on the row on the side of Envy. But the difference being, Envy got those extra 2 rounds from the pistol on their attacking side. They could prove to be so vital here if Sentinels can't find a way through this defense of Envy. This round is massive. We need to see ShahZaM go off with this op. He needs to out-op mummAy if he's going to take that fight, or he needs to get an early pick, but sick. Getting so aggressive here into B. Garage will be the first to go down, and it's advantage Envy yet again in this round. And ShahZaM goes down. Envy they're just taking him down like flies right now.
I'm still hung up on what Sick was doing. I think he was trying to get inside a garage, but he didn't have anyone to help him out. There were 2 players there. He was already so far committed at that point. There was just no angle for him to take that can give him the upper hand in that fight. Maybe the box on the right, but he wasn't going to be able to get there in time. This round is now falling apart. Yeah, it could be.
His shoulder peak was messed up or something like that, or he felt like he could get into a sneaky position. I don't know. There was something fishy about it. It didn't look right. Didn't look like the Sick that we've seen. But at the same time, I mean, if he had pushed in and he got a kill there, I would have been saying, yep, Sick is so confident. And again, he's not afraid to push in. Like, yeah, it's just one of those things. He's taking a risk, but is it the right time to be taking a risk at 9-9 when your economy is going to be reset after this? As Zombs does get one onto FNS, and here's Dapr as well. So, okay, this is now doable for Sentinels, and they have the A site. They get their information with the neural theft. Spike will go down, and it's a 3 versus 3 retake.
They found my
Always
wire.
falls down to those 1 or 2 interactions, and Zombs has typically been the guy that's been leading the charge when it comes to that. The Neural Theft 2 is going to be helpful. Dapr has all the intel, 2 players located on top. They will get a res, meaning that they will have numbers advantage, but they're going to be playing angles. Numbers advantage and a significant life lead too, because Zombs is very weak. There goes the explosion to boom, or sorry, the showstopper, but it doesn't really do anything. Zombs is still going to manage to pick up a kill despite that now.
Oh.
Sinatraa, he's still alive, which means it's going to be a problem. The tables have turned. Calypso's going to be dangerously low on health. Spike is going to be going off here, but Calypso gets the kill. And is it going to be enough time? He will get it off. No! No! It was 0.6! Oh! Oh my God!
So close from Envy. That round could prove to be everything with the outcome of this match. I mean, Sentinels did so well, considering they were down 3 versus 5, and then they were down 3 versus 4 again after the res. Sinatraa does so much work here on elbow. He's hit some big shots. Maybe he's timed that, and maybe he kind of knows that it doesn't matter if he dies at that point. I don't think so. But either way, he's done his job, and Sentinels get the 10th on the board. And, well, at least they're able to get something on their attacking round now. Now they need to do the same again, but it certainly wasn't an orthodox way. It wasn't a normal way of winning a round. They had to dig deep there on that A site. At least they were able to work their way up to ramp, and maybe they'll try and find similar success here.
And it's Zombs, man. He's still dangerously weak, playing the corner on A site plant, and he still gets a big kill and doesn't die to showstopper. Yeah, sure, he ends up getting cleaned up, right? But that one kill, that one interaction, that was huge, because who knows, like, had they had time to be able to use, had Kaboose been able to find the showstopper where he wanted it to be, this could be a completely different round. Anyway, though, as we look forward to this one, what a game that we're seeing here on Split. Both teams really bringing it. They've shown their confidence. ShahZaM gets chunked. Or excuse me, Sinatraa gets chunked. It would be a little dangerous if ShahZaM got chunked all the way upside here. And look at this angle from Calypso. And they're not, I don't even think they're like worrying about, okay, they should poke this. There it is. Gets one. Big kill. mummAy's going to get one off screen as well. Now they might try and undo the wrong that happened in the last round and bring this one up to a 10-10. Only player left alive is going to be Dapr. Kaboose wins that fight, and we're tied up yet again.
I mean, they're putting me through the emotions with these
You must be
rounds,
having a field day, because I know you after every cast, Dan, you're like, you know, man, I just wish the games were just a little bit more intense, right? and now we're getting an intense game. So analyze this, Dan.
Now, every round, every kill is going to matter, because the economy is going to be so vital here. It's going to be so difficult for Sentinels to manage this. Their economy is back down to tatters. They arguably are going to be giving this round away, and then suddenly 11-10 to Envy. If they lose this one, then they lose the next, then this is probably game to Envy. So this round they need to do as much as they can to try and at least slightly ruin the economy. They can start things with a showstopper. That's the way to go. Do they see the shorty though? No, they don't. And they don't connect with him. mummAy gets the trade. But the res is there. So Sentinels have done a job here. They do have the player advantage. But of course, they need to pick up those weapons. If they rescue those weapons, GB, it is a winnable round.
I mean, it was almost like if they were just stabbing him with some sporks there, just trying to make something work, and they managed to make it happen. Even if you can stab someone with a spork, it still kind of hurts. But perhaps Kaboose could be the knife that cuts through this. Needs to be careful about the player that will be located on this flank. It is Dapr. And Kaboose needs to check the corner here, but he's going to die, and he does get picked by Dapr. That is going to change the complexion of this round entirely. Can FNS be the hero this team needs and give him an 11th round win? Doesn't see the player that's going to go inside the garage. Spike is now going to be planted. Does manage to pick up the kill there against Sick. He will have a teammate to back him up as well. It will be Calypso coming from the defender's side. And what little does he know is that that is going to be cleared out completely. Both players are going to be located inside of the garage, and FNS, he has the angle. He has dropped down. There goes the dark cover. The nade comes through. And they're checking. They're checking everywhere that there could possibly be. A second player will be there, and that could possibly mean that he's going to swing for this. But Dapr has the gun. Dapr has the gun, but Calypso gets the better of him. And now he will have comfortable time to be able to defuse this with no concern in the world. And they go up by 1.
Not going to be a 0.006. I mean, Moses asked me yesterday, what do you do to stop Sentinels? Like, how do you beat them? And I said, you have to stop them winning these eco rounds that they don't deserve to win. And Envy have done very well at doing so. Sentinels almost got away with it there. They got the early frags, they got the guns, they even got the rotation frag as well on the flank. But then Envy doing very well to stay calm, ensure they pushed onto the site together. They waited for that spike to go down, so you get arguably an easy frag, just being able to see the person trying to run into a post plant. But then they pushed the site successfully together. And I mean, Calypso, we had his statistics up earlier, and he was fragging out, using dark cover perfectly there to ensure that he almost could kind of convince the opposition player that he was going to be on the spike. But then, of course, he wasn't on the spike. He just pokes out at the right time. Timing was great from him. Envy 11-10 up. Sentinels now with a bye. They need to win this one. Otherwise, Envy will be on match point.
The most important round. Every round has been neck and neck, but this undoubtedly is going to be the most important round in this competition, or in this particular match. As you had mentioned, they will go match point, but Sentinels lose this, their economy is going to be hurting.
Cover going
I'll have to make some choices, and there you can see it right there. I mean, that doesn't look quite healthy. You know, it's like a market crash of, what is it, like 1960 or something? I don't know.
I don't know, the year you were born, maybe. Envy does get the opener, though, onto ShahZaM and has the neural theft, so gets all the information here. So this really important round
was huge.
Is now down to just 40 seconds. Envy have done amazing
Calypso
to hold
on the
off
flank.
and ensure that wasn't going to happen.
Oh, Calypso on the flank. This could be big. He gets the kill here. He gets the kill. He gets one. He doesn't get the second, but it's okay, though, because mummAy was right there waiting for him, right outside of anime. And oh, dear, Dapr gets stuck on the ice. It's only just going to be Sinatraa left alive this very critical round. mummAy's going to miss the shot, but Akis is there to have his teammates back. Envy is at match point, or game point, excuse me, in a 100% win rate Sentinels on split. I cannot believe that we're seeing this right now.
And that's not just 100% win rate in this tournament. They have played this map 12 times that have been recorded on statistics in recent events, and they have not lost thus far. I mean, credit to Envy, they haven't lost this tournament. They've played it 4 times, and they've won it 4 times as well. And we knew Split could go either way, but still, I think everyone believed that Sentinels should be winning this one with their consistency and how Split has always been their dominant map. And now look at their money. They have absolutely nothing to work with, and mummAy turns things from bad to worse, getting the opening frag onto Sinatraa, one of their biggest fragging players. Are we looking at the huge upset of Split going in favor of Envy?
Well, they do manage to get on top of the site here, so that would be good. The neural theft is going to be activated as well, giving them the intel as to where Envy is going to be located. Spike is now down. Over on the flank, you got Kaboose. He's going to be rounding up the side. They do manage to pinch through the site. mummAy's looking for the angle. If he can actually locate it, he did it in the beginning of the round. Maybe he could do it again here. Zombs waiting for this player on the outside. He's going to be stuck inside of the corner here, getting tagged down to 82. ShahZaM gets a kill and all that kerfuffle, but here comes mummAy along with Kaboose. Oh, the shorty's good for it. One player left alive. It's going to be Dapr, but that is a wrap. Ladies and gentlemen, Sentinels have lost Split for the first time since this team has been formed, and it is going to be Envy who pick up the win as soon as they get this defuse. GG, what a match that was.
And Envy warrant their decision of picking Split, even though they had to go up against Sentinels defending first. Arguably the hardest way to try and approach Split. They only picked up 3 rounds on their attacking half, but defensively, Envy had all the answers to Sentinels as well. They'd clearly done their